Welcome to our second lesson. In the first lesson, we basically looked at direct and indirect speech. What are they? Now, after learning what they are, when we want to turn a sentence from direct speech into indirect speech, there are some changes which are necessary. There are rules that we must follow. For example, one of those rules is the tense remains unchanged if it is a statement of fact that is always true. We are now talking about universal truth. For example, he said, comma, the sun rises in the east. Full stop, close quotation marks. This is a universal truth which we cannot change. The sun cannot rise from any other place apart from the east. So if we want to change this sentence to indirect speech, what does it become? It becomes, he said that the sun rises in the east. When you look at that sentence, we have not changed the phrase to any tense. It has remained as it is because the rule is the moment they give you a sentence and it is a universal truth, it always remains the same. He said the sun rises in the east. It is the truth. So when we are reporting, we say, he said that the sun rises in the east. Full stop. Now, apart from that, we have what we call a habitual fact. Habitual facts. Habitual facts. Habitual comes from habit. For example, Peter said to John, that is, we are writing a sentence and in direct speech, as he said it, dogs bark at the strangers. The habit is dogs bark. So if we want to change this sentence to indirect speech, it becomes Peter said, Peter told John that dogs bark at the strangers. This is indirect speech. Under facts, statements of fact that are always true, we also look at proverbs. Proverbs do not change. The way we pick them is the way they always remain. For example, we have a proverb like, honesty is the best policy. C, we have proverbs. And we have something like, Harry said, open quotation marks, honesty is the best policy. Don't forget to close with quotation marks. Honesty is the best policy is our proverb. So it becomes, in indirect speech, Harry said that honesty is the best policy. Tenses are not changing because we have said that these are facts which are true. The last bit under facts which are true is historical facts. Historical facts. Historical facts. This comes from history. The history teacher said. The history teacher said, comma, open quotation marks, Samdara Gupta Samdara Gupta is called the Napoleon of India. The Napoleon of India. Don't forget the quotation marks and where we place them. Now, if we want to change this sentence, it becomes, the history teacher said that, the history teacher said that, the history teacher said that Samudara Gupta is called the Napoleon of India. Don't forget the full stop. Now, that is one bit which we consider when we are changing sentences from direct to indirect speech. We have talked about universal truth, we have talked about habitual facts, we have talked about proverbs, and we have talked about historical facts. Now, there is an assignment that we need to do. As a student, do some research and write out 2 sentences of each of those. 2 sentences of each of those. Assignment write down 2 sentences of each of these. 1, which of these? In direct and indirect speech. One, something which is a universal truth. 2, habitual fact, which comes from habit. 3, a proverb, and use it both in direct and indirect speech. And finally, historical fact. Thank you very much.